Good evening, everybody. I think we're right on time, right?
Yes, we are.
One more minute.
1 minute.
Now it's 7 o'clock. Okay, good. Good evening, everybody. Well, welcome to your third and final webinar to complete the quantum shift. Now, let's see. We got a... Let me just mute everybody. There we go. Now everybody's muted. And I'm excited to hear anything that you have caused for yourself over the past week. And I'm also very interested in giving you guys three very specific distinctions to carry away. So I was debating all day, believe it or not, all day I've been debating, like, how should I start tonight? Like, there's so much to put in, and I generally don't want to start with sharing right off the bat, even though I sometimes do that. And let me tell you the reason why. I think this is just a good story, okay? Having led for so many years and having trained people to lead, when you're on that side and you're listening to somebody else, you start to notice where their safe spaces are. So I could always tell if somebody was not prepared, because what they would do is get up in front of the room and they'd say, "So, who wants to share?" And I knew they have not done the work. This seminar or this work is not in their life, and they're hoping to God you're going to bring it out. So I always hesitate to start there. But there is a lot of work that we've done over the past week, and I think I will start with sharing myself. It was a lot of assignments, I think, huh? So the first thing in which you might want to get yourself present to is the person that you got in communication with, or people for that matter. It was really weird because I generated the assignment and I was looking in my own life, and right off the bat, I didn't really see anybody, right? But the moment we hung up, the bell started going off. So my first call was to Pepe. And without going through a long story about it, Pepe had a major financial breakdown a few months ago, and he called me, and what he had done angered me. Like I felt like I was dealing with a teenage kid, and I was so mad at what he did, and I was so mad that it couldn't be undone, and I was so mad that I knew I couldn't just hang up the phone and walk away and let it be. So I took care of it, but man, I made it known. I am never doing this again. Do you hear me? I don't care if we never talk again. I am not having this bull crap in my life. You understand me? Oh my gosh. And he was like, okay. Like, he didn't even know who I was. That's how deep it hit me, right? Now, we have talked since then, but there has been distance. And so I called him immediately after, not after the webinar, the next day. And we erased all the distance. And it was really nice. It was really nice because I could be responsible for how I reacted without taking away the responsibility of his poor choice of management. Because, you know, how it lived for me was, what if you didn't have me? I bet you wouldn't have done that. If you didn't know that there was a net under you, you never, ever, ever would have done that. And I am not interested in being a net like that, you know. So anyway, it was really, really good. And we had a really powerful conversation around that. So that was that. And then I reached out to Cliff because, you know, last week on the thing, we were talking about our feeling habit and stuff. And Cliff, you okay with me sharing this? Okay. And so, and you know, and Cliff was sharing his stealing habit, and he reiterated, well, I don't trust you. And he was talking to me, and I thought that it was a general feeling habit, but I thought, you know what, I should check in. So I did. So that felt really good to do that. And he was being general speaking, but still, I think it was good for me. Was it good for you, Cliff? Yeah, it was. Okay, good. And let's see. It rolled over into one more, and that one's a little more difficult to talk about because it's so outside the realm of anything that we do, and there was nothing wrong. I just noticed, so I have this really good friend, you guys, for many, many years, and have been out of communication for almost, I don't think I'm exaggerating, almost 15 years. And nothing happened. It's not like something happened between us. It's like I've shared with you guys many times. You have an inner circle, and you have to choose, and sometimes life chooses for you who's going to be in that inner circle. If you have lots of people in your life, you're not always going to be able to give everybody a piece of you all the time. And he's been on my mind off and on over the years. So not only did I reach out to him, I made a good excuse to fly to Yuma, which, by the way, is a very horrible place to be. Fly to Yuma, Arizona. It's right on the border. It's really not horrible. It's just not a place I'd go. And I generated some work there so that I could actually see him face to face. So I took him out to dinner, and we had a really wonderful time. So those are the outcomes of getting in communication with people. I think I'll open it up and let anybody who has anything around that, anything that you want to say, anything that happened for you around getting in communication with people. You can hear that I'm stepping around the language because I don't want to say get complete with people, get clear with people, but hey, whatever you need to say, do it. Robin, please go ahead. Oh, no? Bondia.
Yeah, Bondia.
Okay, cool, Bondia, and then I'll come up to you, Sue.
Okay, hi everyone. Well, I know Thomas knows, but I don't know the rest of you know that I was in a pretty bad car accident a week ago yesterday. And the communication that I had to get into with the police and sit in the back of his police car, which brought up all old memories, and also call Andy, my ex, and Cliff and Antonia and different people. And it was a very scary situation. Just bottom line is I was driving to the Galleria and it was pouring rain, and the exit off ramp that you take to get off of 65 and go around on the main drag to get to the Galleria, I spun out and went head down 50 feet into this big muddy marsh. Now, it was really traumatic actually, but the thing that's amazing about it is being in all that communication had to take me out of my head, a lot of it, and I didn't really have the PTSD or whatever till the next day. And by Friday, I was going to the doctor, and Andy came to take me, and I was so full of energy and well that he said, I don't think you need to go to the doctor, but Antonia thought I ought to go, so I went. And I'm totally fine. And the car is totally fine. And it's like it was a movie or something that I was watching, that how could I be so fine and the car not have anything happen to it except get muddy. And, it was really an extraordinary, I was supposed to do the Power to Create communication course that I've been registered in since December. And I've had a lot of the communication experiences that you go through in the time leading up to when you do a course. And Andy said when we were driving back home, are you going to the communication course? And I said, no, I just got the communication from the universe, and it is slow down and stop running all over the place. Just slow down and shut up, really. So I just wanted to share that with all of you, and it had me be in communication with my number one person in my experience that has been challenging for me is my daughter, Renee. And she called me up and had just a fabulous mother-daughter, daughter-mother communication with me. And the thing that was a breakthrough for me is while I was grateful and happy and thrilled, I didn't make it mean anything in particular. It was just something that she saw that she wanted to do to make sure I was okay. And then the conversation went on for a little while, and other things that we talked about. So that's what's been going on with me. And I have a new experience of driving now. Really, in a way that it's not like I'm not afraid, but I'm very much more present and awake. And the CHP policeman, well, they are policemen, said if you hadn't held on to the steering wheel and just gone down like I was riding a roller coaster, if you'd have twisted the steering wheel just hardly at all, you would have flipped the car.
Mm.
So I didn't know that or do that or anything.
Well, we're all glad that you're well.
Thank you.
And, thank you for the story. How did it feel being in communication with Renee at the level of mother-daughter versus distance?
Well, I was glad I didn't die and that I was able to have it. It felt empowering, kind-hearted, and a sense of completion about the story that I've had about her all my life.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you all.
Deb and Sue. I don't know where they are. Oh, they disappeared. Okay, Bonnie, go ahead.
So I had a really interesting experience with it. I couldn't think of people that I needed to be in communication with because honestly, I haven't had a lot of people in my life. My circle's been kind of small, and my relationships with them are very healthy right now. They just feel very, very healthy. But I have one really dear friend who we call each other sister. She's Japanese. She's been in the U.S. for 16 years. She's not one of those people that learns a new language really fast. So she still struggles with English a little bit. She just recently learned how to say, fuck that. She says it really well. So she's getting really good. But we have this amazing relationship, but I felt like I was doing a bunch of little things that I needed to clean up with her. So we went out for a drink, and I wasn't drunk, but, it was just a nice, relaxed atmosphere. And I said, there's some things that I just want to talk to you about and apologize for if an apology is in order. And she was immediately just right there for me, because she always is. And I mentioned point by point each thing. And each time she said, oh, no. I mean, she admits, I don't mean to make any sort of ethnic generalization, but she admits to being classically Japanese. She doesn't ever want anybody in her presence to feel bad. So I would say something and she'd say, oh, no, that wasn't a problem at all. There's no need to apologize at all. And then I would say, I just want to make sure that, you're not feeling bad. And if you are, I really want to know about it. Oh, no, I would tell you if I felt bad. And I think I hear Lisa, and there we go.
I got it. Go ahead.
And I didn't feel like I pressed a magic button and all was better. All I was left with was that I said what there was for me to say. She heard it, and she did what she did with it.
And how did it feel?
Good. I felt like I was being responsible and very loving with my friend who I adore. but it didn't feel complete for me. 'Cause
Oh.
I really wasn't sure that she
So,
was telling me the whole truth.
got it. So, the energetic language that we're creating,
Yes, please.
everybody has this part, what I'm about to say, and I'm going to add something. So the energetic language that we're creating, and by the way, we are creating a new language of personal energy. That is what we're doing. We are getting our hands on the levers and dials of energy. And there is an energy between us. There's an energy between you and I, Bonnie. There's an energy between myself and Maria. There's an energy between each of us, and there's an energy between you, and there's an energy that's there for the totality of us. And as we get more and more conscious of energy, we need a language for it that isn't as metaphoric. Why? Because the metaphors has us look for something. It has us create a story about something versus getting conscious of how it feels, not like how it feels comparison, how it feels. So there's 4 parts to this language. I think there might be 5 parts, actually. There's 4, yeah, there's 5 parts. So there's light versus heavy. So that's one way that we're all relating to energy. So when we're in a particular space and something's going on, many times we might feel heavy. And when we feel heavy, we know that there's something that if we let go would bring us to a lighter experience. And by the way, not to make heavy wrong. Do y'all get that?
Yeah.
If you feel heavy, feel heavy. But letting go will bring you to feeling lighter and then light, okay? So that's one aspect. The other aspect, and this is where we get into personal relationships, distance and closeness. So let me just say a little bit about that. And this is going to relate to you, Bonnie, with especially your good friend, but your general circle right now, period. So, I shared the story about Pepe and myself, and I chose not to use this language because I wanted to develop it as part of the overall sharing. There was distance. Now listen, there could be a lot of distance, there could be a little distance. It all depends upon what you are committed to. And we as a group, because we're getting our hands on the levers and dials of energy, we want to feel all of it. It was easy for me not to feel the distance before I generated the assignment. Then I had to look at it like, oh, there's distance. What might I say? Listen closely, everybody, because this is going to be distinct from the everyday way that we've learned and been trained to complete our relationships. Not to minimize that, by the way, because you will use that. Absolutely. This is just different. And that is, what might I say that would reduce distance? And if I reduce distance, then it gives me what? Closeness. So, in your case, Bonnie, you had some very specific things that you said.
Mm-hmm.
There's this, there's this, there's this, and there were some apologies that you felt like you needed to make. Okay, all fine and good. That's one possible way. Everybody's with me? That's one possible way. I want to give you another possible way, and that is you just speak from your heart anything that's there. So like when I called and talked to Pepe, the originating conversation wasn't, I was such a dick with you. That was not the originating conversation. And can I tell you, was not my experience either. So it would have been a big fat lie. It would have been completely inauthentic if I had said that. What I was responsible for was that what I said and the way I said it caused distance between us. And that's what I wanted to be responsible for. I want to be able to say anything I need to say, any way I need to say it, and still be able to have closeness. We're all together with me? Now, this gentleman who I love dearly, his name is John Daniel, and he's going to sing at my wedding. I may or may not have shared about him before with you or not. John and I have been friends for over 40 years, and he is an actor, singer in Boston, Massachusetts. In fact, he was the lead role in Phantom of the Opera. So he's really extraordinary. And he, as a gift, is flying here, of course, to be at my wedding, but he's going to sing at my wedding.
Oh.
Now, my feeling habit is I feel like I'm being ignored / left out, that kind of world. That's the energy of it. John Dan I hired somebody to accompany him. So they're going to play music while he sings. And they've been trying to reach him, and he's not called them back. And I noticed no communication with him whatsoever. I just noticed the moment I heard that, distance. Now, if I were in any other group, I might give myself permission for that distance. But because I'm in this group, I said, wow, energetically, that feels heavy, hollow. So I get on the phone with John, and the moment I hear his voice, the distance disappeared. And we talked about what needed to be talked about. He goes, wow, I never got that guy's message. I said, yeah, he told me he called you like 3 times and left a message. He goes, I got no messages. I don't even know his phone number. So it all got worked out. Now listen, is that always going to happen? We don't want to turn this into something mystical. No, it just so happened in that case, that's how it worked out. It was really, really awesome. And I never had to say anything about how I felt. None of that. It was real conversation. And all I paid attention to was energy over here and energy over there. And when I knew that distance was gone, that was all that needed to happen. With me? Everybody? With me?
Yeah.
And I might as well go ahead and give you the last piece. So there's light, heavy. There is distant and close. And the last one, I guess these will be 6 pieces, right? Light, heavy, distant, close. And then the last 2 would be whole versus shattered. How often do you go through a day, and you feel whole? And you'll express being whole a lot of different ways. You'll say, oh man, I was in the groove. I was in the zone. Oh, everything was working out. Or however it occurs for you, that would be feeling the energy of whole. And then there's times when you feel scattered. And when you feel scattered or shattered, how many of you can feel that way sometimes? And if you try to look for the reason why, you really don't see a reason. And then if you look hard enough, you'll make up a reason and you'll make that story work. But the truth is, this is what it feels like to be human. We feel heavy, we feel light, we feel close, we feel distant, we feel whole, we feel shattered. This is what it is. And so what we want to do is to feel it and be so conscious of letting go constantly that we don't have to have any story about any of it. So that is the language right now, you guys. And I reserve the right to add, take away, and break it up at any point. But soon I'll have it in writing, just like I have the 7 elements in writing. But these are not complete yet. But right now I say this is the new language of personal energy. And it's the language we're going to use so that we are more quick to move from one space to another without a whole lot of conversation in the middle. Not to say we shouldn't share our stuff. That's fun, and we all want to do that. But in our day-to-day living, we want to be so energy conscious that we can move from one space to the next space without a whole lot of thought, without a whole lot of monologue. We're all good? Everybody's with me?
I have some questions.
Go ahead, Bonnie, please.
So, whole, shattered, close, distant, heavy, light, are they continuums, or are they one or the other?
They're continuums.
Okay.
And you're going to feel it at many, many different levels and ways, and you may or may not always be able to express it, but because we're all using the same language, we'll all get it. Please go ahead.
And you can be anywhere on the 3 continua. Even, you can be, well, as you were talking, I was thinking with Kay, I felt close, whole, and a little heavy.
There you go.
If I'm feeling
perfect.
Why would I feel heavy? Well, I just did.
But that's perfect. But you can see that's perfect. So it's like, it's exactly the way you shared it with us. You're like, well, she said she was okay, but I don't really think she was okay, but I know we're okay.
Right.
I don't think she really told me the truth. Maybe for her it doesn't really matter that much, all that stuff. But really all she noticed is, I feel a little heavy, but I'm whole. I'm whole. We're close. I might just keep letting go and the heavy will just disappear on its own. There's nothing to do with it. Yeah, beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
I noticed, since we've been doing all of this work, guys, my relationship with my 3 brothers. Now, listen, I have an amazing relationship with my brothers. Anybody who knows me for any length of time knows I have an amazing relationship with my 3 brothers. And if I talk about anything off with my 3 brothers, I'm sure for you guys who know me, you think, oh, how could that be? But all I'm looking at from an energetic standpoint is some shift has happened where we're closer than ever. And, and we have a lot of things that we don't agree on, just like everybody, you have people. But I also noticed how we get thrown into a box. We had a dinner party at our house Saturday night, and politics came up. Now, listen, I don't bring up politics ever. Well, okay, almost never. Sometimes I do it playfully, but really in a mixed group or a dinner party, I just wouldn't bring it up. I leave people alone on that thing and on religion, right? But I had one friend there, and that's not his way. And so he brought up a little story, and the energy in the room, it could have shattered. It could have gotten really distant. But you guys, it was so amazing. Every single person at that dinner party had different views. Now, it's funny, you have Republican, you have Democrat, and you have Independent. Forget about Independent for a moment, because if you say you're Republican, there's an automatic image and a box that mostly you'll get thrown into that may or may not be true. And if you say you're a Democrat, there's a box that you automatically get thrown into. Always forgetting there's at least 1,000 different views that exist in each one, And so the conversation that night, I left that conversation, and I think everybody did, with no distance. And we all had a better understanding of how important it is to have your individuality, even though there's a freaking label that can really screw it up. So anyway, that was good. Somebody else? Relationship stuff? Yes, Cliff. Thanks, Bonnie. Oh, and then Kevin Sewer back. I'll come back to you guys.
Yes. Is it on now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I had 2 experiences. One was after our conversation, or a webinar last Thursday. So Friday, I thought, I really have a lot of tension with my friend Kenny. And the background is simply this. He's about 62 now. He retired from his business. He had an RV business. He did repairs and sales. And so he was very mechanically inclined. He's had lots of experience. So when he retired, he didn't have anything to do. So after about a year, I said, look, I need some help. Come and work for me. So he's been with me, and he's been just a great help. But there's been a lot of tension. And the tension is he's opposite from he is in his desire to do it right. And I'm a general contractor, and you want to get it right, figure it out, and then do it. And he wants to think about it. He wants to analyze it. So for the last almost year that we've been working together, there's been a lot of tension, and I get really fed up with it. And we've had some, not words, but, you know, the tension's been there. So after our webinar, I said to him, you know, Ken, I really get that different ways of with it, but you're really valuable. So I'm willing to put up with you. And I know you're working for me is valuable to you, so you're going to put up with me. So we kind of laughed about it. And even today, as we finished the job, he said, you know, I can see where I'm really helping you level things out so that you're not so uptight all the time. And I'm really how you're helping me get the work done and analyzing everything. So it's been a great release in terms of we accept the tension. It's not like you're going to get rid of it. It's like, okay, I'll live with it, and what can we do to modify it?
Yeah.
So that's created a big breakthrough.
So how do you feel?
I feel comfortable.
Okay. Do you feel lighter?
Now, see, that's an interesting question. I still have to deal with the fact that we need to get the work done. I feel whole. I like that distinction because I can work with him. We'll get the work done. It will be done right. So I feel whole about it.
Yes.
But I say I feel light because I wish he was more like me and still had all his good.
Yeah, I got it. That's great. That's great, Cliff. Thanks. Devin.
Okay. Well, can I have one other thing real quick?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So real fast, I was going to give a presentation this week to a group of young men and women who are seeking to become public speakers. And I'm working on a book. And so this book is important to me. It has a lot of great information. And what came up for me is I felt my feeling habit, if I share this information, somebody's going to take it and they're going to write their own book using my information. And I want to tell you, my fear, I can't trust you, was so powerful and I couldn't get rid of it. So I had to call my best friend, Barbara, and I said, look, I'm going through this. So I shared with her just how paranoid I was to go and speak in front of them because they're going to steal my information. And she says, well, so they do. How many books on public speaking are there? Hundreds. So they're just at Run More. I said, yeah, I guess so. But what really struck me, though, and that was about the time that you and I had that communication, is being aware of this feeling habit has made such a difference because I've been able to see when it comes up the end, it's like a wall and I can't get through it.
Yeah.
So being aware of it and then having tools to get past it, yeah, it made all the difference in the world.
That's awesome. And Barbara, in the future, when he calls you, remind him that he feels like he can't trust them.
Mm.
And then I'll say something else that's kind of a sideline to it, because I understand the fear you're talking about, and I've had many people that I've coached who would have different things they were developing, and they'd be like, oh, I don't know if I could share it with you. Listen, people are not that freaking organized to take your stuff and go put it together better than you're going to.
Right.
They're just not. If they were, they already would have developed something. They're not going to say, oh, that's a great idea. Let me do that. You know, it's just not going to happen.
And I realize that intellectually.
Right. But the feeling habit is the feeling habit.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Cliff. Brilliant. And now, Devin Sue, I got you unmuted.
Great. So anyway, one of the women I work with is responsible for, taking letters that I've drafted and sending them out. Okay. And so I was in in a file, and I noticed the letter wasn't in the file. This is about like a month later. I just happened to be in the file. So I had sent her an email. I just said, hey, you know, I don't see the letter in the file. You know, do you have a copy to put in the file? Well, long story short, it turns out she thought she sent it, but she really didn't follow the procedures. And I need to know that that letter went out. So, you know, it's no big deal for me. It's like, okay, I'll resend it, you know, and I did with an apology. So it's all good. So to me, it was all good. So when I get this email from her, which was just, you know, full of small stuff, let's just say. It was like, I'm incompetent, I didn't follow procedure, you know, like it had this undertone of just like, I'm a piece of crap, okay? And so I was just thrown because I just felt so bad that she felt that way. Because for me, it was just like, all I care about is I got to get the letter in the file, make sure it was sent, period, end of story. I had nothing going on. Mistakes happen, okay? We deal with a lot of transactions, so what the heck? So she was on my list. So I went over to her and I just said, you know, are you okay? I got your email, you know, are you okay? And she just said, oh, I'm fine, which I didn't believe. I mean, you know, but on the other hand, I wasn't going to pry. So I just said, well, look, here's the deal. I hope you don't think I think anything that you put in that email. And I just left it, you know, because she wasn't opening up. She was still at the effect of all of it. And I just left it. And I can't say I felt light. I can't say I felt, well, maybe I wasn't shattered. I wouldn't say it was whole. Well, whatever. But the point is, it didn't feel complete. But I was willing to let it go. You know what I mean? So on some level, I had to be, you know, I'd let it go. I did. So today, fast forward to the day, so it's like, you know, 4 days later or something. And I see her put on a big set of glasses, sunglasses, like the big kind, you know, the ones that are like this big. And I said to her, I said, look at you, like all Hollywood. I mean, you know, I just couldn't help it. And she says, well, you know, I wear these because that way people can't see that I don't have a poker face, which I totally got. Because the woman wore her emotions on her sleeve all week long, and I could see it. And I'm like, but, you know, she doesn't want to say anything, whatever. And we laughed. And I said, yeah, I said, you definitely don't want to negotiate with people face to face, because I work for an insurance company. That's what we do. You better have a poker face. You cannot have, you know, all this on. So I felt like we had a connection. You know, I don't know. There's nothing really else to do.
There was less distance.
Less distance for sure.
Less distance. Very good. And what I want to point to is many of the sharing, we said, well, I don't know that I really felt lighter, and I don't know that I was shattered, et cetera, all that. Keep in mind, these are the levers and dials, and now you're bringing awareness to them. Tonight, you're talking about them. Tonight, I'm asking you how you feel, and we're pointing to them. But when you leave tonight, this week, you'll start to notice more light, heavy, close, distant, whole, shattered. You'll notice it more. So it'll be more fun. But great. Very, very good. Thank you. Joanne, I like your glasses on you. They look good. You look good tonight. Anybody else? Anything around your circle of five? Go ahead, Barb.
You know, when you're saying just feel the energy and let it go. So there's a lot of energy right now of sadness. There's things going on. You know, my mother died just about a year ago now.
Yeah.
So all that's there and other stuff. And so I'm finding I'm resisting feeling. You know, I notice the feeling and, you know, I'm like, okay, let go, let go. It doesn't want to let go. It just wants to hang on. So I said, okay, well then just hang out. And, you know, I can't hang out with that very long. So I go distract myself. And is it good to distract myself? Because I don't need to sit and wallow.
Well, I'm going to talk about it a couple different ways. So letting go as distinct from resisting. You got to get this fine line. There's a fine line between letting go and resisting. because they can somewhat feel the same, but when you get that slight difference, here's what you'll notice. If who I am is letting go, and I want to tell you guys, this particular element that we're discussing, I've gotten really, really good at, and I just want you to know, if you allow yourself to get really, really good at it, there is a shift that cannot be put into words. That's all I can say about that. But you will first notice, oh, that's resistance. See, I don't know that you got there yet. I wonder if that fine line is still there for you, Barb, and sometimes letting go really is resistance, and you just haven't quite fine-tuned it yet. I'll give you the floor in a second.
I don't think I can tell the difference.
Yeah, very good. And that's not a problem as long as you're open to, yay, I can't yet tell the difference, and there is one, versus, I can't tell the difference. Screw it. See, no, it's like, oh, there's a difference? Good. Eventually, I'll see the difference. And when you see the difference, there's magic in it. Doesn't mean we can't talk about this, because we're going to. If I am feeling sad, automatically when I'm feeling sad, just by virtue of being human, what's automatically there? Now, don't make this complicated. It's like who's buried in Grant's tomb, okay? Like, what's automatically there? I am sad, and automatically what?
I don't want to feel sad.
I don't want to be sad. Now, what is that?
That's
Resistance.
That's resistance. So what am I letting go of? Now I'm coming to Barb, just Barb for this one. So Barb, in the world of letting go, and if I'm looking for the it, in this case I am, what is it I'm letting go of?
not wanting to be sad.
Exactly. Not the sadness itself. The sadness itself, I'm feeling. Because guess what? That's what you're here for.
But
So
it doesn't mean I can shift that.
doesn't mean you swim in it. Doesn't mean you have to be stuck in it. You feel it. And what you will find is you don't have to feel it as long when you're not resisting it.
Okay.
You can feel it and it will move through. And then you'll do or be whatever you're doing and being, and then all of a sudden it'll come up again. But if it comes up again, feel it again. Did you love your mother?
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. So here's how you want to be with this. If you want to turn it into something wonderful, that every time that comes up, mother's there.
It's been like that.
Well, very good. So you can turn and be with the sadness as a kind of joy. Up to you. Up to you, however you choose to dance with it. But the one thing we did get in this interaction is the distinction, resistance versus letting go. Because now you know what there is to let go of. You thought you were going to let go of being sad. No. We're letting go of the resisting the being sad.
I think what it is that when I'm feeling sad and I think, okay, well, you can shift that. And then when I do that, then I feel like, well, see, you haven't felt it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. See, when I feel
Yeah.
when I feel sad, I stop and feel sad.
I did.
And if I have to function and feel sad, then I make my game, how can I function? High function, not low function. How can I function highly and be sad? Listen, sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. But it's a very, very powerful game, and it's a unique game. Because the everyday, ordinary game is, how can I overcome my sadness? And that's giving your life away. But you won't know that. You won't know that until you come to the place where you honestly, with your whole heart, believe that you are here to feel, that you are here to experience life. And to experience life includes all of it. And when you really authentically come face to face with that, there's a new relationship to the breakdowns. There's a new relationship to the sadness. There's a new relationship to the distance, the heavy, the shattered?
Well, then it's been an interesting game this week. And my friend that I've had distance with, it was her birthday. We went out, and I said, you know, there's nothing more to say. I'm sorry, I'm this, I'm that. I thought, you know, anything I say is going to create more distance. That's what I felt. I said, all of my energy I'm going to be aware of today is just how much can I love you and be happy with you on your birthday. And that's what I did. I didn't talk about it. There is nothing more to do with that. You understand?
No, we can talk that crap to death, right?
Right. There's nothing more to do. Now, do I feel like it's 100% healed? Not yet, but the game is there to do it. And, you know, of course, I'm not safe, so of course it's not safe yet.
I feel like
I'm not safe.
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
So that's showing up, and that's mine. So I'm just being, and I think she probably feels like that too. But you know what? We said we're sisters, we fight.
And you might need that. And not for this interaction, but something to put down for yourself to consider. What does it look like to be safe? We want to get into your brain and start looking at the pictures you have, because I feel like I'm not safe could mean something different to every human being. I would be very curious to hear what that looks like for you. Not tonight, but generate that, because over the next few weeks when we're together again, we'll play with some of the different pieces of this language.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Very, very good. That's awesome. Thank you. Was there anybody that I left out that wanted to step in? Okay, I don't see anybody. Very good. Perfect.
Hey, Thomas, it's Bonnie.
Yes, Bonnie.
Can I just quickly share something that I learned recently? It's language that actually, it's an analogy that made a big difference for me. I think it's from Buddhism, and it's when you feel bad, like you've been shot by an arrow, resisting that feeling is like shooting yourself with a second arrow.
Yeah.
So
true.
what you want to do is forget the second arrow.
Yeah, this is very, very true. But I'm gonna do something with that. Okay, I got to do something with that, because I love that. I love that, and I love a lot of Buddhism. Period. The reason I want not to have that in the space necessarily, not making you wrong at all, because it's in somebody's head anyway, is because we're not feeling the arrow. See, I want that we get very what do you call it? Happy with, I don't have the right word just yet, but get familiar with, get happy with feeling the arrow. Well, you said resistance is like getting stabbed with the arrow and then trying, right?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, you feel a feeling like, oh my God, I've been shot. But I shouldn't feel bad about being shot. And that I shouldn't feel bad part is like a second arrow.
That's right. And it's perfect. It's perfect, except that when we bring in the second arrow part, it's like making the arrow wrong versus the point is letting go of resistance. I feel what I feel and I let go of resistance. That's all. That's all.
I see the distinction.
Yeah. And what you're saying is perfect and beautiful. I just want to make sure that I keep everybody like right here, feel it. Really, you guys feel it. If you have to express it when you feel it, express it. But that's where we are now. We are now in the space of we are going to feel it, and we're not going to try to pacify it. We're not trying to make it go away. We're not trying to help people feel better. No, we want to help people feel. And if they feel, guess what's going to happen? They're going to feel better. Not feel better, feel better. You get that? Okay. Very, very good. Okay, great, you guys. So please make sure you put in existence the new language of personal energy for now. So I'll say it's the hands on the levers and dials, and those levers and dials are light, heavy, distant, close, whole, shattered. I had asked you in measuring against your circle of 5 to notice like a gauge, like a barometer for letting go and a barometer for being the expression of the higher self, which would be your essence. We're not going to take any sharing on that at this moment. As we continue on, there will be things that you might want to say about it. But did you notice using your circle of people, I'm calling it the circle of 5, but however many you had, 5 or less, did you notice a tendency to let go more quickly than you normally would just going through your day-to-day? Has everybody noticed a little more ease in letting go? I found by using my 5, to me, it's just been the most amazing tool ever. You know, when we first started doing the letting go process, we were including everything and everybody. And that got one kind of result. But something about having the circle of 5, I don't know, made me come face to face way quicker. Face to face way quicker. And I noticed letting go became easier and more fluent like that. So we're now going to talk about your essence, the essence that you are, the expression of the higher self over there where you are. And I asked you this week to put essence first. That is aliveness first. How many of you all remember what we distinguished as passion? What is passion? Somebody? Yeah, Sue, go ahead.
The ability to feel deeply.
So it is, so take out the ability, it is feeling deeply. So passion is feeling deeply. Thank you. And if I'm feeling deeply, try this on. If I'm feeling deeply, would you agree that I am full of spirit? Would that be an okay terminology to use? I'm calling that essence. So when the essence of the higher self is over here with me, so generosity is what I say the essence is over here where I am. And when that is natural and spontaneous, I am full of spirit, and therefore I am feeling deeply. If I feel deeply, I'm full of spirit, and naturally the essence of who I am is there. Does this make sense so far? All right. You, each and every one of you, each and every one of us are experts at transferring passion to another. Every single one of us are experts at transferring passion to another. But how do you do that? Real question, and you're going to have to really look. You are experts at it. You are experts at transferring passion to another. What is transferring passion? Well, in this case, if passion is feeling deeply, and that is full of spirit, then probably transferring passion would be transferring spirit. But let's not go too far down that rabbit hole. Let's keep it like as level as possible. How do you transfer passion to another? Like really, not like the right answer. How do you do it? How do you transfer passion to another? Yeah, go ahead, Bart. You're talking with your hands. Wait. I'm trying to unmute you, but it won't work. Yeah.
Okay. it's for me, it's my enthusiasm. It's actually an energy. I feel energy.
Yes.
And I think that's what I feel. I feel energy. And I think people are attracted to that energy level.
Yeah, very good. Now, given that our rent on earth is to serve others, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you the double question. So you told me how you transfer passion. How do you service others?
I look for what they say they need.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you try to provide that.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Somebody else. How do you transfer passion? Yes, I'm coming to you. There you go, Maria.
Hello.
Hi.
So when I am not my feeling habit,
Yes.
I feel like I am a disappointment. When I am not, I can be my essence. That is
Totally.
happy. And I can share happiness, my happiness with people. I can be myself and I can share that with people. And I can also and talking about how can I be in service, also is allowing other people to be who they are, and to and listening to them. Let's see, I know something. Listening to them, like in getting their word as well.
Yeah.
Also like, how you say, like sharing, or when I'm talking to people, like the way I talk to them, like to make a difference for them, like with possibilities.
Yeah. Very good.
And sharing my happiness. I guess all of that.
It's perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. Somebody else. How do you transfer your passion to another?
Thomas?
Coming to you, Bonnie.
So in line with my essence, I get very fascinated by particular artists. And this week it's Grace VanderWaal. I don't know if any of you know who she is. She was 12 when she went on one of the competition shows, and she's just an insanely brilliant, very mature artist for a 12-year-old. And she's written some exquisite songs, and when she sings them, she sounds like a mature person singing. And I'm just fascinated by it because there's clearly some, to my mind, some force out there that gifts people, maybe capriciously and arbitrarily, with artistic creativity. And when I see that in some people, I'm just completely fascinated by it. And as you can hear, when I talk about it, it's totally from the heart.
So for you, the
for
way
me,
you transfer passion is through your fascination.
Yes.
And I'm gonna add something to your fascination, because it's not just fascination, because I thought it was. Remember when we talked about it before, I thought, oh yeah, it's just take away all the other stuff, it's fascination. No, you know what I think it is?
What?
You get fascinated with their heart. So when people have their heart exposed, that's what you get fascinated by.
Yes.
That's what I think. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for that. And then let's see, we got Deb and Sue. I am unmuting you. Nope, I can't. You have to do it yourself. Sometimes it won't let me.
Okay.
There you go.
So enthusiasm is mine, but and so there's places where that's particularly easy. I mean, there's hardly a topic I'm not interested in, truthfully, and can probably share on just about anything. You know, I mean, people call me frugal, to give you an idea. So, because there's hardly anything I can't converse on, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want it to sound like it's, because when you think of enthusiasm, and I know I do, you think it's just like this always uplifting.
Woo!
And it's not, because sometimes I can have deep feeling of sadness and other things, which I can every bit as much share and have. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's always like bells and whistles. Because again, I'm looking at the definition, feeling deeply. There's no condition on what you're feeling.
That's right.
It's not all, you know, whatever. So, and then how I serve, like the visual I have of it is like one of my friends when I was a little kid coming to the door and saying, "Can Sue come out and play?" It's because there are places I know where I pull back. There's like an aloofness that I have. And so the way I serve, and I do resist it. People want to play with me all the freaking time. They want to talk to me. They want me. I'm telling you. And I have a whole thing. And this is where my time conversation bumps up against how I serve because it works particularly. I'm like, you know, frick that. I got stuff to do. That's your issue. I got it. You know what I mean? Like, but that is it. And when I do come out and play, I feel freaking alive. And I don't give a shit about time.
Right.
And part of me wants to just say, fuck time. Just go out and play with everybody and see where the chips fall.
Right. But now, so you said a whole lot of things.
Oh, I know I did. Yeah.
I want to pick a few things apart. The first thing I want to pick apart, not pick apart, flesh out. The first thing I want to flesh out is it is transferring passion, not sharing passion. So I want to make that distinction. And if it leaves you with the question, good, because I'm not going to answer the question. I want you left with the question. You are experts at transferring passion to another. And how do you do that? Okay, then the other thing that you said, darn it, and I think I lost it, Sue. Shoot, I wish I would have taken a note. And when I go back and listen to this, it'll come up for me again. It was really, really worth us touching on. Let's see, you said, so the transferring passion, enthusiasm, people want to be with you. Oh, and time goes out the window, and sometimes you just want to say, I don't give a fuck about time. Everybody, listen. Is it time she's concerned with? It's not time she's concerned with. It's what there is to do and handle that you're concerned with. And we call that time. We say, oh, I don't have time for this. I've got to put my time here. But the reality is, if we start speaking more energetically in reality, it's not got anything to do with time. This is what's got to be handled. This is what I'm up to now. And I only put that in because it will give us something now or it won't. But over the next few days, it will. So I got to put it in that where you and I use the word time, be conscious about where you're using the word and see if you can say something differently, not strategically, but getting real. Like, wait a minute, I call that time, but it had nothing to do with time. Okay? Yeah, thanks. Let's see. Sue and Joe. You are muted, just to let you know. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't want to come unmuted, right? There you go. All right.
Transferring passion. I started thinking about the things I love. Sue was talking about it. My photography and my writing, transferring my passion through that to other people. So
very good.
When I take pictures or when I'm writing, I'm so passionate about it, and then I share it with other people. So that's what I thought of. Nice.
I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have time for one more on transferring passion. Anybody? Okay, I'm coming up here. There you go, Cliff, and I'll come down to you, Charlie.
Yeah, just briefly, I found that my whole life has always been, if I'm really passionate about something and in transferring it, I become
You
very
become what? Wait, you become what?
intense.
Intense.
And I have a great deal of intensity, and sometimes that can be overwhelming, but it just fills me. And a lot of time that intensity is carried on and people do take it.
That's good. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to come down here to you, Charlie. You're the last one on this topic. Sort of.
Yes. Well, I have to admit that when I first read the email, I resisted it.
Yeah.
About serving others.
Yeah.
And so I chewed on that for a while. I mean, like 3 or 4 days, and then said, all of a sudden it just occurred to me, I'm just going to acknowledge people. So I've been practicing that all week. And I had a really interesting situation a day or two ago. Someone told me that a friend of ours is recently taken by cancer, and it's pretty progressive.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, I go, wow. So I called this guy, Mike, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know that you've been awesome with me. You've always been fair with me, and I just think you're a great man. And he started to cry.
Sure. He felt that.
Yeah.
And, you know, share with people your essence.
I don't know. I can't. I'm at a loss right now.
Charlie, you're on the team. What did I tell you guys on the team? You cannot be on here and not have that in front of you. I'm going to come through this camera. Well, anyway, you have a sensitivity, not sensitive like fragile, sensitive like to the heart of others. That's your essence. Write that down, damn it.
Okay, well.
All right. And,
thank you.
And I want to acknowledge that you called me yesterday and you acknowledged me. And Charlie and I have we might have distance now, but we had no distance or anything. But, you know, after that call, I felt so close. I felt whole. I felt known. That's what I felt. And that's what Mike felt when you called and said that to him. He felt known. That might be something else, you guys, that we add to our feeling language. Known. So I'll put that in existence here. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much, Charlie, for that. So everybody, you can see that there is something to this transferring passion. But you can also see that it's kind of all over the map. It almost feels like there's something to do. Like, for instance, you know, if the essence I am is generosity, well, how do you transfer generosity? Well, you're not. You're transferring energy. It is an energy. And there's a particular energy that's unique for all of us. And that energy, when it shows up for another human being, they feel it. And they feel it different than they feel it from anybody else on the planet. That's why it's unique and why it's so incredibly important. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how do we serve others. And I asked you and you looked, and for some of you, you had some resistance, like, I'm always serving others. You know, I mean, some of you had talked to me and said, I'm always serving others. I don't know. I kind of like to get a little service myself. You know, whatever comes up for you. None of it's wrong by any means. But I want you now to shift this word service. Like, how do we serve others? When you are in service, by the way, that is where the energy of whole shows up. You know, earlier when Cliff talked about talking to your work partner, can't remember his name now, but your work partner, and the thing was, it was being of service when you said to him and acknowledged the differences that he is, and when you acknowledge how you all tolerate each other. It was your own language to transfer energy. And when you did that, you felt whole. You said it might have still been a little heavy, but you felt whole. You actually said those words, Cliff. And what I want you to try on is mostly how we think about transferring energy is, let me say it a different way. How we serve people is wherever you go. Now, this is for all of us, and this is yours. So you might want to write it down. This is yours. How you serve others is by bringing the energy up wherever you are. Do you get that? And can you hear it? And can you see where you do that?
Can you say it again, Thomas? Sorry.
I will, yeah. And can you see where you don't? So it is how you serve others. So I asked you all, how do you serve others? And you probably saw different things in your minds, but now I'm going to tell you, this is how you serve others, okay? This makes it really easy. You don't have to try to figure it out. It's not that you serve pizza, but you might. You bring the energy up wherever you are. And you do it on purpose. All right, now listen, I'm not done. Write that down. Let me know when you've got it written down, you look at me. That way I know. Or look at your camera. Not really me, but your camera. Yeah, very good. Okay, so you bring the energy up wherever you go. Now, we're starting to wind up. So everything I say from this point on, I want you to be very, very, very aware. And I'm choosing the words purposely. Mostly, if I say to you, hey, Lisa Gondola, I want you to bring the energy up wherever you go. Well, naturally, you're going to be thinking of going into a room and you're going to be more energetic than anybody else in the room, right? So let's say you go into a room and everybody's kind of like, yeah, who cares? And you come in like, hi, everybody, how's it going? Do you like being that guy? No, nobody likes that guy. We all do it. Listen, you just gotta face the facts. We do it. We'll go into a space that doesn't feel real good, and we're gonna be the one. Hi, yes, and then like, oh gosh, there's that guy. You're gonna be that guy. So here's what I'm gonna give you now. It's a new distinction for all of us. And I call it pace, pace, lead. Pace, pace, lead. And here's what it looks like. You go into a dead space and you level yourself with the dead space. If everybody's low energy, you lower your energy to be in that energy. That's pace. You with me, everybody? You with me? Pace, pace, lead. See, if I go into a space that's already, there's an energetic space wherever you go. And if I go into an energetic space and it's already, listen, it's happened to everybody. I'll tell you how it happens here at home. I come home from a trip and I have whatever energy I've got going on, and I'll walk into the house and I am that. You follow? If I'm really up, I bring in really up. Pay no attention to the energy that's already there. If I'm really down or burdened, I go in down and burdened, paying no attention to the energy that's there. That's how we are. We're in our own bubble so much that we don't realize that when you segue into another space, you're bringing energy there. And if you really are interested in energy, if you're really interested in this game, and I know you are, then you want to practice pace, pace, lead. So how do you serve others? You serve others by always bringing the energy up. So that means my deep, dark bubble, I'm not going to live in my deep, dark bubble. I'm going to feel, let go, and wherever I am, my goal, my game, how I'm going to serve people is bring the energy up, and how I'm going to bring the energy up is pace, pace, lead. Versus lead and expect everybody to pop up. So pace means I find the energy that's there and I be that. That's pace. I find the pace. It's kind of like if people are walking and you're at the gym and you know how they walk the circle and they're walking the whatever that thing's called, the track, and you hop on the track. Well, if you go down that track and you start going like really slow or really fast, it disrupts the energy of the track unless nobody else is there. What you first do, though, is you get on the track and you find the pace. And you pace, then you up the pace. And before you know it, everybody else kind of ups the pace with you. So it's pace, pace, lead. And that is how you serve others. Follow? You bring the energy up wherever you go. All right, so talk to me a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, Cliff. Let me hear what you got to say. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, there you are.
All right. This is a fascinating conversation. And in looking at my life, I realized I intuitively learned that as a contractor working with my employees, because I have a certain way I want things done. And so I had to learn that if I walk onto a job and the men are doing it not the way I wanted, if I come in and I'm angry and this isn't the way it's supposed to be done, and I have this high level of energy, what that is criticism. So what I found works is I walk in, I look at it, and I suppress any anger or resentment, and I say, let it go. So I'll talk about it, find out why they did it that way, and then I'll say, now here's the result we want to achieve, and what you're doing isn't going to achieve that result. So here's how and what I realize is this is how I then bring up the energy, I would call it, and the people begin to, and it works. Unless they're not a good employee, it doesn't work, then, there's conflict resolution, and it is, you got to get rid of them, because if they can't bring it up to your level. But it is, like you say, it's far more effective to come in and get in their world at that moment, find out why they're doing it that way, and then bring it up to a level. But now I'm saying, okay, I can do this in other areas of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pace, pace, lead. My gift is to bring energy up wherever I am. I'm coming down to you, Bonnie. Oh, but you are muted, and I can't unmute you.
I think I did it. So again, clarifying question. You're not talking about like making everybody happy.
Nope.
You're just talking about bringing up whatever the energy. The experience in my mind was a visit that I had in 1990 with my friend who had been dying of cancer for some time, but was resisting it, and she was just getting to the point of saying, okay, I really might be dying. And I went and I had a long conversation with her, and I left feeling like she was really heard and she could relax a little. And it felt like the energy was up, but the fact is she was dying, and she, a couple months later she was gone. So I think that's what you're talking about. Is that right?
Well, we'll see.
Whatever the energy is?
The thing is, how you serve people is you bring the energy up wherever you go. And now you're going to do with it whatever you do with it. We'll talk more about it, Bonnie, because you are more new in this conversation.
Oh.
Not that, listen, I've never said this before, what I'm saying now. I've never said it before, so I don't want you to be misunderstand me. But there is kind of a track we've been on that this kind of fits in.
Oh.
In another week or two, it's going to fit for you too. And the question won't be quite as important to you. And plus, we talk every Tuesday, and we'll have more to say about it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Because it's not about making everybody happy necessarily. It is about, listen, I am very, very interested in the rest of my life being in service of aliveness, period. So I say essence first. That is who I really am first. And if that's important to me, then letting go of my feeling habit is going to be natural. So letting go is natural. You with me? Now, if that guy walks into a room, that guy is going to bring the energy up. Just that guy. There's nothing I have to do. You with me? Except if I'm really interested in the gift in serving others by bringing the energy up, I now got to be conscious of what I'm walking into. You said it really great, Cliff, when you said it's actually making, I don't know how you said it, but it's actually making them wrong. You know, if I go into a room that's relatively flat and I'm Mr. Happy, it's making whatever's there wrong, whether I intend that or not. It is how it gets received mostly. But you find the pace, you fit into the pace, and then you lead the pace. Pace, pace, lead. This should leave you in an inquiry. It should be fun. I'm hoping this is fun for you. I guess I should ask that first. Is this fun for you? It's a fun inquiry. We have one more distinction I want to leave you with, and it's called the flat spot. Some of you may have hit the flat spot. Some of you may not have hit it yet, but you will. When you're doing this kind of energy work, it's inevitable that you'll be in this spot. So I want to distinguish for you the flat spot. Have you ever been like just no inspiration? Everything feels not bad, not good, kind of neutral, but maybe blah. I'll tell you, if you've ever had any really intense goals and you reach those goals and you're very excited, like, yeah, reach the goal. Well, right after the goal, because you got nothing that you're reaching for anymore, right? So it levels off. I call that the flat spot, the space of no inspiration. Okay, that's a space where you just have no inspiration. You're not inspired. You're not sad necessarily. You're definitely not happy, but it's just blah. What is the automatic response to that space? Automatic. It's right there. What is it? Yeah, go ahead, Barb. Oh, I thought she was raising. Somebody, yes, go ahead.
It's like something's missing or something's wrong.
Yes, something's missing or something's wrong. So I'm immediately thrown into trying to fix something. Yes? Like if I'm not inspired, oh boy, I need to find something to get inspired about. Or I'm looking for the right technique to do so that I get inspired all of a sudden, because we all want to be that. We don't want to be this. We don't want the flat spot. So here's what you could say to make it very simple. The automatic response to the flat spot is resistance. That's the automatic response. Everybody can see that, right? It's just automatic. Like, ooh, this should not be. Everybody sees that? And that resistance, that very resistance drives up your feeling habit. Everybody, you're with me so far? That very resistance drives up your feeling habit. So, I want to give you ways of being with the flat spot. Number one, the practice of honoring life unfolding. The flat spot is just as important as the hilltops. And how you use them, the flat spots, are critically important. Now, for those of you who are in business, specifically if you're in business for yourself, you'll be able to relate to what I'm about to say. And if you're not in business for yourself and you can't relate to this, please don't worry about it. Just let it go. But when you're self-employed, there are times when you are so busy, you can't keep up with all the business. Right? And then all of a sudden it all dries up and you're scared to death. And when it dries up, you make that space wrong. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to do something. Okay, that's the flat spot. Okay, so if you can take that and translate it into everyday ordinary life, that's kind of what it feels like. You feel like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. I got to wake myself up. I got to get inspired somehow. Rather than go there, energy people, you're going to feel the space of the flat spot, and you're going to relate to this as the perfect place to be to generate yourself for the next hill, if you will, the next climb, if you will. So what do you do during the flat spot? Well, you are going to meditate. You're going to meditate more. You are going to interact with other people more. You are going to close distance more. But you're doing, listen, this is the most important part. You're not doing any of it to get out of the flat spot. That's the catch. That's the catch. See, because some of you are thinking, well, that's what I would have done anyway. I mean, I get in the flat spot, I go and I'm meditating. But you're meditating to get out of something. I'm saying, no, you meditate because this is the time. It's like when you're in business for yourself and you go through the dry spell, that's the time to put in new structures. That's the time to create new work habits. That's the time to investigate everything you've got in order and decide what should stay and what comes out. You see what I'm saying? The flat spot's very, very important to us as energy people. We don't necessarily look for the next one. We just know it's coming. And when it's there, we're going to use it as it's intended to be used, not try to get away from it. Did that land? Anybody have any questions, anything you want to say about it whatsoever? Yes, please. Go ahead, Susie. I think she's talking, but you're muted.
Yes, yes.
Oh, there you go. Start over.
I said, oh my gosh, I feel like you're talking right at me,
Yeah.
right to me around my books.
Oh, yeah, right. I get that. I get that.
The flat spots I get between inspirations.
Yes,
And
yes.
I have ran from it. I was like making it wrong. Something's wrong with me. I'm not getting creative. All these stories.
Yes, yes, very good.
So thank you for that. It actually is really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. So then, here's what I'll leave you with regarding that flat spot. So who are you going to be in the matter? Who you're going to be in the matter? See, because when you're in the flat spot, the essence isn't really happening. And so the other night while we're generating this with the team, I had forgotten that this was Easter, and I said, so this is where the seventh element is critically important. And the seventh element is faith. And faith is trusting that the essence that you are will rise again. It's faith. You just trust. So you're in the flat spot and you have faith and trust that who you are, that essence of who you are, will rise again. Does that empower you? Perfect, perfect. So I want to say a couple. Yeah, go ahead, Joanne.
So you had made a comment that resistance drives up feeling habit.
The feeling habit, yeah.
The feeling habit. Is that like 100% of the time?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say any resistance drives up the feeling habit, yeah, because the feeling habit is the glue that holds it all in place. Small self activity.
I had not necessarily seen that as an automatic.
Yeah, I think it's directly connected. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I will mute you. Very good, thank you. So if you can now relate to the essence of who you are, it happens outside of space and time. When you are free to be, when you've let go completely, and the feeling habit has no power, and the essence of who you are is there, it happens outside of space and time. Our next series will start Thursday, so we're going to stay consistent on Thursday. And what we're doing is taking a non-linear language. So this new language of energy is non-linear. I want you to imagine a circle, and the circle shows light, heavy, close, distant, whole, shattered, and then we added one more, known. Well, forget known for the moment. Just imagine the circle. And we're going to take the linear activities of everyday life and apply the language to those activities. In the next series, we're going to focus on relationships overall, our general relationships, and we're going to continue using the circle of 5. I think I'm going to trademark the circle of 5. Because the circle of 5, I think it's very powerful, a very great way to use. And by the way, our team, our design team is made up of 5. So I think there's something about 5 different personalities to measure against. And so that starts Thursday, same time, same channel, etc. Anybody who registers for that before Saturday morning at 10 a.m., it's $80, and if you register after that, it's $125. Share it with everybody. Let's see if we can, get a number of people on that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we will practice pace, lead. So we're going to put that into practice. We will definitely be dealing with the flat spot wherever it is, and we're going to expand on the new language of personal energy, and that's what we're going to do. Okay. So having said all that, I will open the floor to anything anybody would like to say, and we'll declare the quantum shift complete. So anybody, anything at all? Yes, Jean.
I want to say I just always love this work with you, Thomas. I just love how it continues to grow and expand, and I really love and appreciate what everybody contributes. It makes
yeah. I think that people have been really very, very generous this time around, more than ever. I want to acknowledge that also,
really
more than ever.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
thank you. And I'm coming over here to Lisa, and then I'll come up to Barbara. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Thomas. I want to thank you because this weekend, 2 of my 5 people are my sisters, and we actually got my mother put into hospice. And so we had a conversation with the admissions nurse that could have gone a lot of different ways, and just out of the energy, creating the energy and being aware of how my sisters were each experiencing it in their way, it was tremendous. And we had them, the conversation was fluid. We laughed, we cried. My mother's doing great. She's in a really great place right now. And my sisters are very relieved because we have additional support. And my part of my conversation is I don't belong. So it's also that I don't live close. Absolute togetherness. I have, sad that my mom's at that place, but I have just such an amazing spirit connection with my sisters. It's, just so, it's just very happy about that. The thing is, in order to register for the next one, should we just text you after class?
Oh, thanks. Thank you for that. I forgot. No, all you got to do is just go right to the quantumevolution.com.
Okay.
If any events, it shows as the next event.
Oh, okay. We'll do that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
And then I'm going to come up to Barb, and then I'm going to come over to Deb and Sue.
Hi, Thomas. I just want to thank you and everybody that's been on the seminar. I don't know what shifted for me, but life is shifting.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't even explain it.
Me too.
but it's such a feeling of energy and light. Does that even make sense?
We'll make it make sense.
Expanding in every direction. It's disconcerting. It has me. I see that I'm at odds with relationships because I don't even know how to. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know how to handle relationships anymore. The vibe that you're telling me, it's like I'm so growing. It's like I don't even know how to explain it.
Good.
But there's something there that it's just there's places where it feels like it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, that I'd like to just present to you. Can you grow past your relationships where you grow beyond? Because what was a little self many times that got into those relationships and on which those relationships depended. And as the higher self becomes more evident, how does that affect past relations?
Oh yeah, there would be relationships that deselect themselves. Just naturally. Not like a problem, but just naturally. Listen, the more you generate being the essence of who you are, the less likely some of the people that hang around you will have any interest in being around you anymore.
Some of that's happening.
And and if we're not careful, we'll make that wrong and we'll start running back to who we were because we think, well, if I'm going to lose my friends, this is not working. But the truth is, you're not losing friends. You're just not having the space and time with them that you once did because there's just not room for that.
Well,
your interests have shifted, Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. Now come down to Deb and Sue. There you go. I got you.
Okay. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and the group just for having the opportunity to even participate in these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
I'm always stunned by the level to which we are taking our lives on and our ways of being. And it really supports what Sue and I are up to in terms of living the rest of our lives. Not interested in living it the way we did the first 50 years or the first 60 years. And I mean, I'm just stunned. There's always something I get out of this. And like you, I would never even think about the energy of the room. I would just come in being who I was.
Yeah.
So now I've got a whole new take on pace, lead, where I would have been like you. I would have come in from work. I'd be just who I was. I wouldn't think about what the heck was going on in the room or who the other. It just wouldn't have occurred to me. It would just I'm just being me.
Right.
So I really appreciate it because it really does, make a difference for
awesome
how it's what's gonna happen from here on in.
Sweet.
So
Thanks, Deb. I'm coming over here to our friend Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
Hey. I wanted to share about my group of 5.
Yeah.
So the main one in my group is my mother, and she's about 89 now. And what I noticed recently is that the conversation, I don't have any attachment. Like there's no stories coming up. I'm just listening to her. And I'm seeing that in the other people in my group also. Now, I still have my stories, but they're nowhere near as powerful as they used to be.
Good.
And I definitely get the energy is lighter.
Totally awesome. And by the way, to my group of my design team, I told you guys that when I lightened up with regard to Kathy, my sister-in-law, I'd let you all know, and I failed to, and it's completely disappeared. So I hate leaving everybody out of that conversation, but it's too much to go into at this point. But anyway, I told you all I would do that, and I didn't. Is there anybody else before I complete? Okay, very, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to generate thoughts together and to be a place where they can get teased out and actually used in a way that Hell, 5 years ago, I had no idea that we'd be talking these kind of conversations. You know, never occurred to me. And I'm so invested, you know, and I said to the team many times, and now I'm going to say it to all of you here, I am so committed that we step into a reality and a transformation that we've not yet tasted or seen, that our mind is blown away by. And I have no idea if that will ever happen or how it will happen, but I want you to know that's my commitment. And I feel like a fraud saying it out loud, like, yeah, right, but I mean it. I mean it. My heart's in it. It's what I believe there is something there, and I am so committed to finding it just for the fun of it, and am thrilled that many of you, all of you, and anybody else that we know might want to participate and play too. So with that, I say good night. The quantum shift is complete, and I hope that I see every single one of you next Thursday, and those of you I don't see, I love you madly, and I'll see you whenever I do, okay? So with that, I say good night.
Good night, Thomas.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thomas.